Okay, we're all synced up. Hello, everybody.
I just want to note that Paddy has poured me. You wouldn't believe it, but that is a gin and tonic in a pint glass.
And this is my one with
That's
orange.
illegal, by the way, because that's Beck's, and that's Tennant's, and it's also gin and tonic with orange in it.
So, nice refreshing drinks
Aye.
for a cozy fireside chat without a fireside or coziness.
Can we refer to the notes?
Yes, we can refer to
the notes.
the notes. We have notes. So we decided to do a podcast, sort of question and answer thing, basically get us talking about anything that you guys want to know or anything that we can come up with that we think is interesting, and each week I think we're going to pick a topic, whether it be an important topic or a really deep topic, or whether it's just a movie we really like or an album we really like.
It can be anything that interests us.
And we're going to talk about that a little bit. This time we're going to do it at the end of the podcast because it is a little bit deep, it's a little bit dark, and don't want to bring the party down.
We're going to put it at the end. But then they'll leave on a sad note and they'll be like, oh.
Yeah, well, okay, we'll do all of them, and then we'll do one last question. We'll do most of the questions.
The way then, American news corporations do it is they do all the stories, all the boring, drab stories.
Yeah.
And then they do the sad story. And then they do a happy story after it.
Then there's a story about a duck from Alaska finding his way to Florida or something.
That all the way back to its owner and shit.
Okay. So.
I swore.
I don't care. And I don't think anybody else does.
You're gonna have to bleep it out, or do it like Epic Mealtime, like where they go like they don't bleep it out, they go like instead of a beep.
Well, we may not. Okay, so we have our notes and all the questions that some people have given us and some people have wanted answered. So,
aye.
Question 1.
Oh, can I read the questions?
Okay.
Yes. See how easy Paddy is to persuade. It's amazing. Do you have any nicknames? Why? Yep.
Okay.
We both have nicknames. Notice we're both calling ourselves. I'm Toasty, and this is Paddy, and that's how we know each other. I don't call him James, and he doesn't call me Alex, because that would be weird.
Alex.
Fuck off. Pardon my language. So why do we have nicknames? Well,
who asked it? First of all, who asked the question?
Michael G. House Gledhill asked this question. Guy G, how you doing? Top dangle. That guy in his class. So we have nicknames. I'm Toasty, and you're Paddy, and you're called Paddy because
one of my middle names is Patrick. That's not really a nickname. I've got other nicknames.
It is, yes, but it is your nickname though, because
a little bit.
You're not technically called Paddy, and you get called Paddy because, well, I guess mainly because you're Irish. Like that's.
You see, I've always thought it was just because my name was Patrick, and like that's how I've always been known.
But the fact that your second name's Flanagan is also like.
It's quite Irish. Well, it used to be very Irish.
You come from like the two biggest Irish families, don't you? Like Dunn and Flanagan are the two biggest Irish families.
I wouldn't say biggest, but like there's an awful lot of Dunns, especially where my parents come. Well, especially where my mum comes from.
Yeah.
There's an awful lot of Dunns. They originated in County Laois and County Wicklow. So there's an awful lot of Dunns, and if you go back to like the 1700s, like the 1600s, 1700s, we used to own castles. We used to be knights,
awesome.
Irish knights, which is really cool.
It is cool. I'm sure that there's some sort of history like that in my family history, but I don't.
Well, I mean, there's some sort of history like that in everybody's family history.
The family history I know back to is I know back to like World War One of my family history, and that's it. Like just over 100 years.
So Toasty's not an inherited title then?
No. That would be my best mate Connor, who decided during high school that because I ate quite a lot of cheese and ham toasties and cheese and bean toasties, if I was feeling like treating myself, that he'd call me Toasty because it was funny, I guess.
Yeah. And is that your only nickname?
No. No.
Well, go on, because I have to go through all of mine.
All right. Okay. So we'll take it turn by turn. So you said
Okay.
Paddy, I've done Toasty. Right. Your next one.
Okay. The next one is John Day, which is a more recent.
I totally forgot about John Day.
It's a more recent moniker that people have given me.
Yep.
And it started by Oliver and Kyle of K&O fame and infamy.
Plug.
Yeah. And basically it started
Infamy? Did you just say infamy?
fame and infamy.
Oh, I guess.
Because I mean, it's Oliver's fame and it's Kyle's infamy. Because everybody's like, oh, that guy.
They've not murdered anyone
No, but they
that I know of.
well.
They've murdered each other a few times. You'll see that on
Couple
their
of times.
channel. Plug.
But basically it started with Men at Work. The song Land Down Under. Many of you know it.
Oh, yeah.
And they like to put the words Paddy Junday in rhythm into this song. So it ends up being...
It's not like, you know how they go, I come from a land down under. Yeah? It's not that anymore. It's Paddy Junday. Paddy Junday.
Paddy Junday.
Yep.
And it just goes on and on. So that's my second one.
It just gets worse and worse as we go down the line.
Yeah, I know.
So I'll go for a more early. In fact, no, I'm gonna go for a nice one. No, should I end on a nice one?
End on the nice one.
Yeah, okay. It's kind of nice, but it's also kind of sad as well. It's the serious nice one though.
Oh, just pick one.
Fuck you. Right. Okay. So my most recent one before Toasty was Babs. Oh no! I know that people are gonna watch this. She might even watch this.
She.
The reason I get called Babs is because our head of year, from year, through high school, through main school, our head of year was a lady called Mrs. Golightly, or Miss Golightly, Barbara Golightly, which can be compressed to Babs. And the reason I got Babs was because my hair at the time was very similar to her hair. It was short and it was kind of sticky, uppy, bouffony. She pulled it off. I didn't. Did she pull it off? Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't go to the high school.
I think you met her though once.
Probably,
twice.
but
She was a nice lady actually. She spoke to me about when I was bullied in high school. Everybody's bullied in high school though. But she was a very nice lady. She was a nice lady.
yeah.
Comforting.
Okay, I'm going to do two ones because they're kind of the same and
Are they
build on each
intermingled?
other. I quite often get called Padme, because one, I'm a massive Star Wars
Say
nerd.
that again. I made a massive noise.
Oh, sorry. I get called Padme.
Padme,
Mm.
as in Amidala.
Yeah, and later Skywalker. But because I'm a massive Star Wars fan, and also
You and me both, brother.
it's the sort of running joke that I'm on minus man points. Like everything manly you do, you gain man points, and I'm not very manly. I'm quite camp a lot of the time, and
You're
sort
not
of
camp. You just
abstract
don't.
and-
You don't. Yeah.
I don't do that.
I'm going to use an analogy here and say that you and I both actually are very similar to James May from Top Gear.
Yes,
You see,
yes.
he
Not quite camp, but
Jeremy does the really
a bit.
insane, powerful things that Jeremy Clarkson does, and Richard Hammond is like he dresses up as a like a pop star, and
a little bit, yeah.
he's sort of the one the women go for, whereas James May is just totally ambiguous, just like
Yeah. So there's Padme, and then one time, me and one of my friends were playing badminton, so that got extended into Padmington. So on occasions
I've
I
called
get
you Paddington. I call you Paddington. as in
Paddington
bear.
and Padmington, sort of.
Yeah.
Like there's those.
Did anyone see Paddington Bear? That's really good.
Yeah.
Childhood memories right there.
Oh dear.
Oh, really?
So those are all of mine. So now
Is that all of yours?
that's all of mine. Yeah.
Okay,
As
okay.
far as I'm aware.
Oh, I've got a couple more.
Oh no, I've got one more.
Okay, save
I've got
it,
one more.
Save it. So my next one would be, before that, He-Man. As in He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. The reason this was is because, as all kids do at some point, you run around the schoolyard pretending to be, some sort of superhero or whatever, and that's why I got another one of my nicknames, which I'll tie into this one, which is Power Ranger as well. I got He-Man and I got Power Ranger.
Which Power Ranger?
Just any of them. Probably the pink one.
You were the pink one?
No, I wasn't.
Alright, which one did you pretend to be then?
I don't like Power Rangers.
Alright.
Don't kill me. I don't like
right.
Power Rangers.
Okay.
You were just talking about Power Rangers.
Yeah,
like
I was, because
10 minutes
I
ago.
love Power Rangers.
Jeez.
My favourite Power Ranger
What's
of all
that?
time, Green Ranger.
Who was that? Who did that thing?
David Jason Frank.
David Jason Frank played the Green Ranger and some of the others.
And he later played the White Ranger. He played the Red Turbo Ranger.
Oh, is this the dude you showed me on YouTube in the fight against that guy from Mortal Kombat? Is that the same guy?
There's a video on a channel called Bat in the Sun, and it's the White Ranger, David Jason Frank in the White Ranger suit, fighting a guy dressed as Scorpion, and they use all the powers, and it's all CG'd and stuff, and it's an epic fight, and I'm not going to ruin it for you, because if someone had ruined it for me, I would have cried, because Scorpion is cool, and chain hands, and throwing fire at people, and the White Ranger... He has his sword, Sava. He has like the chest plate. He has the power blast. It's awesome. Okay, was that the end of your?
No, that was the two ones that
Those
that
are
I
the two
got
that
because
are
of
mingled.
because of running around the schoolyard like a fucking retard.
Okay.
I can't say that word anymore. I don't mean it in a bad way.
Yes, you do. Magic. Is the word that
No.
all of Beric uses.
Shock humor, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
It's jokes that make you go.
Yeah. Whenever you see someone that's a little bit, not quite there, shall we say, it's like, oh, look at him, he's fairly mad. Well, yeah. Well, that's the thing. Sometimes
Jesus.
Yeah.
You say Jesus is magic? No, you said Jesus wasn't magic.
Yeah, I said Jesus wasn't magic. He had magic hands. Apparently.
Wouldn't you know?
Apparently. But
let's just go off the
okay,
subject of magic, because that's starting to get a bit uncomfortable.
So my last one is the most recent. It's Junde Punde Labia Chin. And I was given that nickname when we were playing Magic the Gathering, and we decided we should all have funny names. So one of the guys is called Dr. Thunder, because he's not a doctor. Like there's loads of other stuff, and there's one name that I just cannot and will not say live on air, sort of thing. It's
bad.
It's just too bad. It's really, really bad.
Whose is that?
It's
No, don't say it. But whose is it?
Curly hair.
Oh.
Yeah. It's pretty bad.
You'll have to tell me in a minute.
So
well, that's funny.
What's your last one?
Hold on. Have I got two more last ones? I don't know. No, I've got the last one that people gave me to take the mickey out of me, and I've got the serious nice one. Okay,
All right,
so,
just do the nice one, because we've done enough.
No, the nasty one was cauliflower head, which is the same reason that I got called Babs, is because of my hair. I had huge bouffant hair, so I got cauliflower head in middle school, which is not very nice. And the last one is Sandy Mac, which is the one my family gave me, which is or just Sandy, named after my great... I can't remember. Is he my great grandfather or my great uncle? I can't remember. Some member of my family, but he, I believe he died in the war. But he was called Alexander. I believe he died at D-Day.
Okay.
But he was called Alexander as well, same as me. And he got called Sandy. So yeah, I get that.
Okay.
And people that I haven't seen like since I was a little kid like call me Sandy, like the members of my family. Oh, hello Sandy, how you doing? I'm like, what? I don't know who you are. That's kind of bad. Never mind.
So
right.
That's all of our nicknames.
That's all of our nicknames. I think.
Who'd have thunk it?
Unless other people give me nicknames I don't know about.
Not that I'm aware of.
I believe Connor's mum gives me the nickname Laughing Boy. I don't know why. I don't laugh that much. He's laughing now and I'm not laughing. It's not funny.
Okay.
Right, Paddy.
Question 2.
What is your favourite band ever and why? Or you can give us top 5.
Okay. Music is a huge thing to me. I love music. I love lots of kind of music. Predominantly punk and rock and metal and stuff, but I love a bit of jazz, a bit of folk, a bit of blues, a bit of country. So there's lots of stuff out there. My all-time favourite band is Green Day. to me, Green Day can do no wrong. I tend to love everything they do, apart from that "Kill the DJ."
No, they did that to take the mick, I'm sure.
I'm kind of sure they did, but even if they didn't, even if they just got that sort of thing out of their system,
that one.
even if they just got that out of their system, that's totally fine by me. I don't have to listen to it.
No, exactly. I got annoyed when they released, what was it, like, was it Green Day Angry Birds or something like that?
I can't remember.
They did something.
Don't care.
But I was like,
Green Day Rock Band. Green Day Rock Band.
No, not that. No, there was something like an arcade game. I'm sure it was Angry Birds.
Oh, it might have been.
It might not be Angry Birds. We'll have to look it up at some point, but I might be totally wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, Green Day have done a lot of sellout things, and I don't care.
Yeah.
I really don't care, because if I was in their position, and my career was winding down on the music scene, they have been on it for a very long time as well.
Well, only since '89. It's not
still,
that long.
That is a long time. It's still 3
it's
years
not even,
before we were born.
It's not even 20 years.
It's still before we were born. No, 89. We're 21. Both of us.
Yeah.
89 is 3 years before I was born. So.
Oh no! Wait. Yeah, it is over 20 years. Sorry, maths. Yeah. No. Yeah. I suppose it is over 20 years.
Yeah.
But
So no, they've been on the scene for a while, and if I was in their position, I'd totally do things
Cash
like
in.
that. It's like cash. They've got kids to feed.
Yeah.
It's not like they have a problem feeding them.
Okay. So my top 5.
Billy Joe's son's class.
Yes, he is. He's got his own band called Saving Amy, I believe.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's pretty good.
They're brilliant.
So my top 5: number 1, Green Day; number 2, Nirvana. Just something about Nirvana gets me. Like sometimes it's really heavy, sometimes it's quite light and lilting, and he either sings at a whisper or he screams. Referring to Kurt Cobain, of course. I love Nirvana. Billy Talent, I've always loved.
Billy
again,
Talent,
very very punky and stuff, and they've always done a lot for the fans. And I met them in Glasgow, which is awesome.
That is awesome.
And I've got pictures with them. It's just great guys, and every time I've seen them, they've been amazing. Frank Turner, I've recently grown to love quite a lot. Originally a punk rocker in Million Dead, and then he sort of did a lot of his own stuff, and now he's got Mongol Horde, which is a hardcore band.
He's had Mongol Horde for quite a while, hasn't he?
Well, it started at Leeds the year before this year now, so the year before 2014, we saw them about 2 months after they formed.
I thought Mongol Horde were around before that.
No, you're thinking of Million Dead.
That was his
original, or as far as I know, original act. But he's done a lot of stuff, and it's Frank Turner and the Sleeping Souls band. A lot of country influence, a lot of folk influence, and a lot of blues. And then there's like the punk overtones.
He does.
So it's good.
I love the way he kind of does his thing, similar to like Rage Against the Machine. Like sometimes he throws in proper political messages and things like anarchistic and pseudo anarchistic.
One of my favourite songs to sing along to while I'm at work. Thatcher fucked the kids. It's lovely.
Beep.
No, it is actually really lovely. It's kind of kitsch and tongue-in-cheek.
She's dead now. It's fine.
Yeah. And my last, I say the last band on my top 5, but one of the bands that I really really love, almost as much as any of these guys, is a local band. They're not together strictly speaking anymore, but they're all doing their own stuff and things. One Mississippi. When I started going to the pub, underage of course, getting into the pub underage, seeing these guys play, and now I'm roommates with one of them.
Not me.
No, not him. He's not in it.
No.
But they were really cool, very sort of almost proto-punk.
1 second.
The guitar.
It's Bob's guitar.
Yes, it's Bob's guitar. Bob Wilkinson, guitarist of One Mississippi. But I mean, all the guys from Sydney
Lyrical
were
genius.
really nice to me, and they just meant a lot to me growing up and stuff.
Yeah.
And I still listen to their albums
on
repeat.
You think you're making Bob go, oh, thanks, Paddy, but actually he's going
oh,
that goddamn.
He's like, Jesus. But I mean, I was 15, 16 when we started hitting Sippy gigs as like the friend group.
I only went to a couple,
Yeah. because you
I know all of
you
them
lived
most
in
recent
Wooler, so you were away from it.
I never
Whereas
lived in
we were
Wooler.
in Berwick.
Shut up. He says I live in Wooler.
Okay, he lived outside Wooler.
I'm near Sheep Shark.
But that meant a lot to me as like in some quite formative years, sort of between 15 and 18, and I just continue to carry that torch, that love of Sippy.
Just realised I'm wearing Mikey G's t-shirt.
Yes, you are. Okay, so your favourite band ever?
Buy one of these. Get in touch with Mikey G. It's a good one. So my favourite bands, top 5 if I can. I've got so many. I never thought about this question until I arrived, which was about half an hour ago.
Yeah.
Tops.
Actually, we need to take a break.
Has it been quarter of an hour already?
Yes, it has. It's been a bit more than quarter of an hour. We're going to take a quick break.
Well, it won't be a quick break to them. We'll be straight into it.
It'll be a quick black screen and then back into you.
We might have to put a filler in there of like me slapping you across the face.
We'll do
slow
something.
motion.
We'll do something.
I want that.
And then you come back, you find out Toasty's top 5 bands.
Paddy, bank.
Yeah. And our last main question, we talk about our big topic this week for a little bit, and then we'll give you our final question.
Which would be nice and uplifting.
So we'll see you in a couple of minutes.
What, you're doing this now? This is on now?
Yeah.
So I should go?
Probably.
How did you know you're wearing makeup?
I am aware.
Okay.
Of
I
it.
didn't know if you knew.
Okay.
I'll go.
Bob Wilkinson, everybody.
Okay. Where were we?
I was doing my top 5 bands.
Top 5 bands.
Or something similar-ish. I don't want to say it while he's around, but One Mississippi's in my top 5 as well. Right, okay. Top 5 bands, seriously. I really like Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd are amazing.
Admirable choice.
Yeah, it's a shame half of them have sadly died.
What are you gonna do? It's music.
It just happens to people, I guess. You know, dying. It just happens, really. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of favourite songs. Wish You Were Here. I love that. Wish
Yeah.
You Were Here is like the sweetest song ever.
Yes.
It's like, play it on guitar. My brother can play it better on guitar than I can, unfortunately, even though I actually actively play musical instruments and he doesn't. Very annoying. And I love High Hopes and Comfortably Numb and the Bicycle Song. I think it's called the Bicycle Song or Bike.
That's Queen.
No.
Right.
Sid Barrett's song.
Oh, yeah.
And it's the craziest, weirdest song I've ever heard. It's so odd. Brilliant though, brilliant. So that's Pink Floyd, yeah, love him. David Gilmour is in general just a musical genius. I just can't get over how good he is at everything. I never realised as well. He's an amazing lead guitarist and his solos are just so, like lullabies. Amazing. But he does play saxophone as well, and I didn't realise this until sometime last year. And I watched him do a saxophone solo, and it sounds exactly like his guitar solos. Like, he does it in exactly the same style.
Yeah.
So it just sounds like David Gilmour playing saxophone. It just does. Like,
Yeah.
which it is, obviously, but yeah, you can actively tell if you were just listening to it for the first time. You could go, that's David Gilmour. I can tell. Brilliant. I don't like Roger Waters very much though. Don't tell him that.
I won't. If I ever meet him, I won't tell him that my friend Toasty
Oh, Roger
doesn't
Waters,
like you
you're a
very
fantastic
much.
bassist. Depressing bastard. Oh well. He is a genius as well. Number 4 or number 2, whatever. I really like Trivium.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I
Yeah.
didn't like Trivium's old stuff, but when they brought out In Waves, I properly got into it because it's really got a driving. It's got a driving, like a bass line to it, to all the
And
songs.
the drums were.
Well, they had
really
a new drummer. That was the
hold
thing. They got a new drummer when they brought out In Waves, and it was the first time he was on the album, and he's just so in time. I can appreciate a good drummer, which is why I don't like Metallica that much. Lars Ulrich can go away. Just go away.
You see, I also really like Trivium.
Yeah.
Even though they're not in my top 5, I loved Ascendancy.
Yeah.
I loved that album.
I can't remember which one that
That's
was.
the one with Dying in Your Arms.
That was the best Trivium song up until In Waves came out.
Up until In Waves, yeah. In Waves totally...
That's the only other Trivium song I have on my iPod apart from the In Waves album. Like, it's the only other one I have.
And Anthem had a funny video. It was totally tongue-in-cheek, ridiculous. But
yeah,
that's because I'm a music video
I can't remember the
geek.
name of any of the band members. If I thought really hard, I could probably remember the bassist because I remember his Warlock bass that has like it's just got a wood finish to it, which I really like. I play a bit of bass, from time to time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really want that bass. It's so pretty.
Okay, so that's 1 and 2.
So that's 2. Yeah. 3. This is where it gets difficult.
Yeah. You see, I'd seen this question before now.
I'm going to say Tenacious D. Because Tenacious D
Okay.
just make me laugh in every single song they do.
Okay.
There are certain songs that aren't necessarily funny. That are just like showcases of how good Kyle Gass is on guitar and how amazing Jack Black is as a lead rock singer. Like, he's just a rock singer. He's just amazing.
Well, like I loved the first album, and I never heard the second album until I watched the movie, and I loved Kickapoo. I loved that whole scene with Kickapoo and him being a kid.
And Meatloaf being his dad.
Meatloaf being his dad, and Ronnie James Dio.
Dio coming out of the poster.
Coming out of the poster, being the god of all things rock and roll and all things metal.
God rest his soul, he's gone now.
I still listen to Dio. I
Yeah,
still
Dio's
listen
cool.
to like
Dio's
Rainbow
cool
in the
as
Dark, Holy Diver. I listen to Rainbow. I listen to Black Sabbath.
Yep.
I listen to both Black Sabbaths, like the Ozzy Osbourne and the Dio years sort of thing. Like, I love it.
I don't know that much about rock history, but I'm guessing that's a big part of it.
It's pretty big. I'll inform you later.
Good. Paddy teaches me a lot, actually, especially about rock and roll and film producing. He was talking to me about how to do white balances and fluid...
Which I hope has worked properly.
Yeah. Fluid location is something we're going to do during this podcast as well, by the way. We're not going to be here every time. We might be in my flat next time.
Yeah.
Maybe we might at some point be in the K&O studio if Kyle is okay with that. But yeah, it's going to be fun. I do want to do an outdoor one at some point just to see how it goes.
I would love to do an outdoor one if we can.
I want to do it on the cliffs. It would be there and be like
on the cliffs. But the thing is, there'd be so much wind.
Mics,
but we'd
have to have the boom mic like right there.
We'd work it. We'd work it out. We'll work it out. Okay, so we've had 1, 2, and 3.
Yep. So Tenacious D, Trivium, and Pink Floyd. I need 2 more.
Number 4.
Mustafa and the Lord now. What? Nothing.
That was a bit harsh.
It's just because of the way that the lead guitarist from Mustafa and the Lord reacts to Mustafa and the Lord itself. Like, he's just like, ugh. I don't know.
It's kind of.
I loved Mustafa and
funny.
the Lord. It was. I just loved it whenever, like, you could tell who wrote the song whenever it was whoever wrote the song. Like, when Dan would write a song, it'd be like, that's one of Dan's songs. If Oliver wrote the song, it'd be like, that's one of Oliver's songs. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I loved it when they did the New Year's gig.
Yeah, the New Year's
Hall
gig
at Berwick.
was a big highlight for Mustafa and the Lord.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
It was great.
But Mustafa and the Lord is not in my top 5. Sorry. They're just not. They're not together anymore, though. I'd love them to do something.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Rob back on drums because I haven't seen Rob drumming in a long time.
Okay, so what's your number 4?
4. This is really difficult. This is a really difficult question. I haven't thought about it at all. So, I am going to put Sippy in there. Fuck, he probably heard me. I don't want him to. God damn it.
Okay.
But, one was Sippy, definitely. I love all of them. I love Dan and Pat and Bob. Oh! And Adam is an amazing drummer as well.
The human
He's
metronome.
fantastic. He is a human metronome. It's fantastic. Last time he saw me, actually, I don't think he recognised me. It might be the facial fuzz. Because I looked like a proper little baby last time.
I think it might be the fact that you used to have like sort of really wavy, quite long surfer hair.
Which I'm growing back. It's growing back, boys and girls.
Yes! I've been telling him to regrow that for like 2 years.
Kyle persuaded me.
Cool. Okay. So that's 4.
That's 4.
5. Moment of truth. What is it? What is it?
Could be anyone. It could be anyone in the whole world. It could be Seven Deadly. I love Seven Deadly. It could be Old Bones. I am actually going to say, because I do live with the guy. I think Sammy's definitely, like, my top 5 isn't necessarily this in that order. But Sam is definitely in there because Sammy is, if you haven't checked him out, he's Sam Reed or Samuel P. Reed on SoundCloud if you can find him. Fantastic lyricist, fantastic guitarist, just awesome. Yeah. Shut up, Sammy. I hate you, dick. I live with him. I have to say that. No, and I mean it as Sammy's, well. I mean it. He's a dick. There you go.
Really close friend of both of ours, and he is really good. And he's not far further down on my top 5. If we were doing a top 10, he would have been there. But
I just love it because whenever I see him, if he's outside smoking or just whenever I see him at the house, he's always talking to me about his music and about how his progress is going, and it makes me feel like I'm almost part of it. It's like I have some sort of creative.
Yeah, well, like quite a lot of the time, like we're sort of the bouncing board.
Yeah,
like
you, me, and Hoagie usually are the guys he asks, like, do you like
stuff
this?
And we give him honest opinions, and we can say we don't like that bit, we really like that bit, we think that's a bit on the nose, or that lyric's a bit too transparent.
Yeah. But yeah, he knows a lot. Well. He knows a lot about like music theory, and I say he knows a lot. But recently he was talking to me. Oh, I've just got a text. I hope that doesn't come through on the microphone.
It doesn't matter.
Probably will.
Keep going.
But yeah, what was I saying?
Music theory.
Yeah, he was saying to me the other day that actually, because he was talking to Anthony Walker.
Yes.
And Ant was like, "Oh, I'm just starting learning," and Sam's like, "What?" Yeah, I've barely scratched the surface, and so Sam actually doesn't know that much, but he's very good at what he does know because music's such a broad subject. Yeah. But he's very good at what he does. He's getting way better at producing his own stuff, and he's always writing stuff and playing stuff out. And he showed us a new song like the other day, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
I loved it.
Is this the one with
where he goes really high?
2 hydrogen, 1 oxygen in it?
Yeah.
Yes, I love this song. I can't wait to hear the finished product.
No, neither can I.
It's going to be great. So that's our top 5s.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Definitely. Yeah. Okay, so we're not doing that one.
No.
Scary. We'll save that.
We'll save one question. We'll move on to this one, which was given to me by one of my colleagues, and it sort of ties into another question that someone else asked, which we'll get to later in the podcast. It was given to me by one of my colleagues when we were just chatting, shooting the breeze, talking about television series that we liked.
Yeah. So, what TV series do you think are the most underrated that you have seen? I'm not actually.
I'm going to pick one.
Okay.
The one TV series which I really, really wished I could see more of. I really wished it had gotten further than it did.
Yeah.
I'm going to say. I would say, Pushing Daisies.
I know you. I thought you might say Pushing Daisies.
Pushing Daisies there is something happening with it at the moment. Nobody's really sure what, but it isn't dead in the water.
Okay.
We are going to find out what it is. There was an idea to bring it out as comics or as a graphic novel,
right.
But it might be picked up again. Nobody's really sure yet. So considering I'm going to find out what's going to happen in Pushing Daisies, I'm going to have to go with Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip.
I watched a couple of episodes of that a few weeks ago in Connor's flat, and I'd never seen it before.
I was there. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
what
I know.
Show.
Like we are the very model of a modern network TV show We hope you don't mind. Our producer was caught doing blow. It's just really, really fun. Really, really talented actors and actresses.
Well, I loved
really
seeing
talented
Matthew
writing.
Perry in a different role. Like, I'd never seen him in a long-standing role other than in Friends, weirdly enough. I've seen him act in other stuff.
Chandler Bing.
Yeah, and I played him... I played Fallout New Vegas. He played Benny in that. He was the voice of Benny in Fallout New Vegas. He's a fantastic voice actor. He's a fantastic all-round actor. I really like him. Matthew Perry in a serious role was fantastic.
So Matthew Perry and Bradley Whitford are the sort of main two guys.
Yeah, it's one of those shows that you can tell is written
really
by
cool.
What's his
Aaron
name?
Sorkin.
Aaron Sorkin.
Of West Wing, Social Network, so many things, just so many.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah. So that's my answer. Studio 60. Even though the series, they only had one series and then it got cancelled, it sort of fell a little bit by the wayside. But there was golden moments in there.
Yeah.
I think if they had slightly shorter series, and then more of the series.
Very much like West Wing, it did give you a feel that like what you're watching is important. Like, it made it feel very important, and it like dragged you in, and
it made you feel
made you
involved.
care about all the characters.
It made you feel
as well.
involved.
It was very good. I love that.
Which was good. So what's your TV series?
Oh, I don't know. As I say, I haven't seen these questions until very recently.
Yeah.
Underrated TV shows.
Or even one that hasn't been cancelled, but just one that is underrated.
We haven't got to
really
the
like.
cancelled one yet. That's the thing.
That's the point.
Yeah. One that's underrated. See, because I watch very mainstream TV shows quite a lot of the time. Like I've watched West Wing and Game of Thrones and Breaking Bad and
I
stuff like
still
that.
haven't got you into Walking Dead yet.
No, you haven't.
Coming soon.
I will watch Walking Dead. I do promise that. That's bank.
Please, no spoilers for Toasty because he'll cry.
I won't cry, but I'll.
Well, no, I would cry if someone spoiled it for me now.
Oh
but
yeah.
The thing is, it'll just ruin
You're
the effect.
invested in it.
You know.
Any TV
he's
shows
he's just looking at all our DVDs.
Doctor Who's obviously not underrated. Spaced is obviously not underrated. I love Spaced.
Breaking Bad.
I haven't watched Mad Men yet.
I
haven't watched Mad Men yet.
Yeah.
I probably will get around to that. I'm not sure.
It's not underrated. Trust me, it's not underrated.
I know. I just love Christina Hendricks. She's a beautiful woman. She is a beautiful woman. Who's going to argue with me?
I'm not going to argue with you.
Beautiful
I'm not
woman.
going to argue with you. So
No
you
idea.
you don't know. You
I
actually
honestly
don't know.
have no idea.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't watch that many like any cult ones or anything like that. So
Okay.
I wouldn't know.
Okay.
Really.
Well,
I call myself.
we'll get back to our last question in a minute. But something's been in the papers recently. It's been in the news.
Yeah.
And it's kind of really bothered me.
Yeah, this has definitely struck a chord with Paddy. I didn't know anything about it.
And it's
until
kind of a
today,
bit closer to home for me than it is to some people.
Serious talk.
A ballet dancer in London called Tallulah, I forget a second name now, threw herself under a train, which is sad and tragic in any circumstances. But it turns out that she'd been on a lot of websites that sort of aggrandize self-harm, and like a lot of, like I suppose there would be an element of trying to outdo one another when you're sharing pictures of things you've done to yourself. Which is
it has this sort of dark weirdness to it.
Yeah, but at the same time, I can understand how that happens. It's so easy to try and one up someone.
Yeah, it happens at the gym. It happens in sports.
It happens everywhere. That's just the way of the world. You need to one up yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Or one up someone else.
How progress happens. But
unfortunately,
this is kind of a backwards thing.
This is entirely self-destructive. And I mean, it's happening. Well, I think I'm just paying more attention to it or hearing about it a lot more since 2005, 2006, when there was this whole thing with My Chemical Romance, and they weren't involved in any way. They weren't involved in any way. It just so happened that a bunch of kids who happened to listen to them killed themselves. And I mean, My Chemical Romance, a lot of their songs are quite uplifting. I mean, one of their lyrics is, "I'm not afraid to keep on living. I'm not afraid to walk this world alone."
Which
And,
is which song is that? Is that Black?
That's Famous Last Words. It is on the album Black Parade.
Yeah, there you go.
But
I don't listen to MCR
Yeah.
that much, but
yeah,
just because they're not a style I enjoy, but
Yeah.
they are good. I do like the lyrics and stuff.
yeah. Well, I mean,
They're generally alright.
I mean, in earlier on in my life, I've dealt with a bit of depression and some dark stuff, but I can tell you it's not the way to go. So if anybody's watching this and like you do self-harm, like I've been there before, it's not good. And the only way, even though sometimes it feels like nobody cares, or you think that even if you try and tell your friends or talk to your friends about it, you think they won't care, it's not true. As soon
Even
as
if you convince yourself that is definitely the case, like
it's absolutely not true. If you tell someone you trust and someone you care about and you think cares about you, I guarantee you they're not just going to blow you off. They're not going to be like, "Oh, it's fine, just cheer up."
Yeah.
Like, they'll help you. So please talk to some friends. If you need to, phone Samaritans. I'll put the web link and the phone number for Samaritans in the description of this video on YouTube, and in the description on SoundCloud.
Right.
And we, talk to someone, and if you need help, there's no shame in admitting you need help. I've needed help. I've helped various friends through various things. It's not a weakness.
No.
If you embrace the fact that you need help, you can come out stronger than many other people.
That's definitely true.
And there's a lot of stuff out there. Like, just don't. It's easy enough to say, now that I'm out of it, don't hurt yourself and all this sort of stuff. I've been there before. It hurts. And now looking back, it's actually quite sickening.
Yeah.
But please, please, if you need help, ask for help, or even, send us a private message if you just want to talk about it to someone who doesn't know you. I'll give you a hand with that, or anything else.
Yeah.
But please do talk to someone. Reach out to somebody.
And
doesn't have to be us. Doesn't have to be your parents. Doesn't even have to be a friend. Phone Samaritans. They're great.
Yeah. I think a lot of it comes from the fact that we're not very, at this age as well, because depression and anxiety especially come at an earlier age, don't they?
They tend to.
Around
they
the
tend
teens
to.
and early 20s, definitely.
But I still struggle with it. Like, I say struggle with it. Like, I have my coping mechanisms that I've learnt through a little bit of therapy.
Which makes it
and I have a really strong, tight-knit friend group.
Yeah.
Which really, really helps.
We take the mickey out of him all the time, by the way.
All the time now.
But he's...
But it's because I know that it's coming from an affectionate place.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas these same people...
I'm not afraid to say that you're my best friend.
Yeah.
Even though, like, I do take the mickey... Like, on Facebook and stuff, I'm going to fist bump.
Oh, we're going to fist bump.
Do you know what the problem is with bumping Paddy, or high-fiving Paddy, is that it hurts every time? Oh, it didn't.
Yeah, because I'm not punching you. Because I've got a ring on.
That's good. I'm glad you didn't. That's what I was scared of.
Yeah, but
I mean, no, it is a serious thing.
It is serious, and I mean, it's not something that just goes away. You need to deal with it over time.
You didn't have a very tightly knit support group at all.
I totally didn't. No.
Which he does now. I mean, we're all.
I do now. I mean,
we're all this bunch of weirdos who just
hang
out with each other and bullshit around.
The guys I hang out with now are like my really close friends. They were the same guys that I used to think were bullying me in middle school.
You think everybody's bullying you when you're in a dark place like that, don't you?
But like everything that anybody says is an attack on you.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's totally internalised.
I still have moments of that now because I went through a bad time at school all the way up until year 11, really.
Yeah.
Where I felt like everyone was just getting at me. Now, it started in first school, and the guy who bullied me in first school the most first of all, he wasn't actually bullying me at all. I mean, we're in first school back then. It wasn't, it's not. It's nothing. It's just it's animalistic instinct, really. When you're back then, You don't
Yeah.
know enough to bully each
No.
other, really.
No.
But that guy turned out to be, you know, he's one of my best friends for life now. I mean that's Sean. You know.
Yeah, I know.
And yeah, all of the guys in my friend group will pick on me a little bit, and it comes from an affectionate place. It does so.
Yeah, but I mean the thing is
But
we
back then
pick on you and
yeah.
you pick on us. Like
Yeah.
it's a bit of a give and take,
Well.
and it's totally a reciprocal thing. Like
Yeah.
it's totally.
But the point being that when you're in that sort of place, it does feel like
Yeah.
everybody's attacking you,
It does.
and they aren't necessarily. It's just that you can't distinguish the taking the mickey from the genuine bullying. You
Yeah.
know, the psychological bullying.
Everything seems to cut deeper than it's either A, intended to, or B, should.
Yeah.
Like some off the hand quip from some person you don't know saying, "Oh, you've got funny hair."
That can hurt.
They might mean that they like the funny hair. They might think it's a bit odd and different.
But when you're in that sort of place, funny means stupid.
It means bad. It mean it totally means you've got funny hair,
Haha.
which is less or wrong or whatever.
Yeah.
And you see everything through a prism of negativity.
Yeah, and being different
Yeah.
is also a very important thing as well.
Yeah.
I get worried about a lot of people for being all very similar. You know, when there's a popular hairstyle or a popular brand of T-shirt or a popular way of looking and things, I get worried about those sort of people because they're the sort of people who have these deep-rooted insecurities where they feel they have to look like that.
They need to be accepted. Like,
see, Paddy's very different.
Everybody needs to be accepted. I'm accepted in this friend group.
Yeah, you're very different, and you're accepted for being that different.
Yeah.
And that makes us unique, and being unique is not only is it okay. I think it's important to be unique and different, because otherwise, well, what's the point in having 100 normal people and not that many different people? Like I like it when people are unique.
I mean,
I
like
think that's the way it should be.
everybody has a thing. Everybody has something that makes them them.
Yeah, exactly.
Something defining.
Or things, indeed.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. It's a very complex subject, and it is close to both my heart and definitely Paddy's. I mean, Paddy's gone through a ton of shit throughout his life, and so have I.
Yeah.
To some extent, definitely.
So
everybody does.
So yeah, just talk to somebody. If you want to send us a message, you don't have to. Just talk to somebody, anybody.
Yeah.
So we'll leave it at that. We'll go on to our last question, which is related to the question that we've just answered before this bit. Toasty.
So, why do television networks cancel shows before they ended sometimes? For instance, Sarah Connor Chronicles, Pushing Daisies, and Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip, which
we've just mentioned as well.
Before. Yeah.
That was asked by
Ian Bradley.
Ian Bradley,
who is the father of one of our close friends.
Close friends, yeah.
He's a good guy. He likes his Hogarden wheat beer.
Yeah.
I'll buy you a pint of it at some point.
Don't
say bank, I'll kill you.
He's a good guy. So yeah, he sent in this without knowing that we were already talking about TV series, and I just thought it went nice together, so we've put them together. First of all,
this is definitely
Paddy's, this is definitely
Paddy's niche.
This is definitely my field.
First
of all, they cancelled Sarah Connor Chronicles because it wasn't very good, frankly.
There you go.
But I mean, there's lots of things that aren't good that you can like.
Power Rangers.
Yeah. But I mean, in all seriousness, there's three major reasons that TV shows get cancelled. Either there is no viewership.
Yeah.
There's no money. They've run out of funding. They can't afford to shoot any more on the budget they were given.
Yeah.
What was that? That was no viewers.
Yeah. No viewership.
No money.
No money.
And three, there's inner workings, like Byzantine workings, of the TV and film industry, which are so complicated. If the writer of a show is caught doing coke, then the TV network doesn't want to be associated with him. They will leave him out in the cold. Yeah. Then the show loses its lead writer or its best writer or whatever, and then they have to go, we can't keep doing this without them.
Yeah.
Or the show changes so much that people stop watching.
Yeah.
Those are the major reasons.
Wasn't that the reason Scrubs got cancelled because it changed too much? Or it was like the med school thing?
Not really. The med school thing changed. It was a lot of the same writers, but Like it was just because after Scrubs, it's quite hard to follow up something like Scrubs, whether
Scrubs
you
was
liked it or
fantastic.
not.
I loved it. It is like Marmite though. Like
If-
lots of people are like, oh, it's terrible.
If
crap."
Scrubs Med School had been marketed as Med School without Scrubs, even if they still had Dr. Turk and Dr. Cox and a few people without JD,
You think it would have been alright?
it would have been a totally different beast. And it would have been seen as totally different, and it would have a different fan base. But because everybody watching it was a fan of Scrubs,
Yeah.
and going Scrubs Med School, it wasn't the same. It wasn't quite the same magic.
No.
But I enjoyed bits of it. I enjoyed lots of bits of it, in fact. It just didn't carry on, and then they ran out of funding because they lost viewership and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
It's all those problems. So I think that's... Unless you have anything to
That
add to
seems
that.
to be, well, I know nothing about the inner workings of
I know very
television
little.
industry.
I just know what I've read and researched.
Well,
and
you did a
stuff.
course on
Film and television
film and
production.
television,
But
which is why, hopefully, this podcast looks really good. I'm not doing it.
okay. So yeah, that's all for this week, I think.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well,
We will see you when?
on flip flop.
On the flip flop. That's not a unit of time.
Is it not?
No. Like if on the
Okay.
flip flop was slang for like 3 hours, we wouldn't be seeing them on the flip flop. It's going to be considerably more than 3 hours for episode 2.
What if we record
Between
them all in a
episodes.
big block? We'd have to change t-shirts.
We would have to change t-shirts.
We'd also have to film it on that red wall over there.
Yeah, we'd have to
Yeah.
change location and it would take
Right.
hours. So we will see you in the next week or so. Week,
Yeah.
10 days. We'll get it out there. See you soon.